Do I regret Nevi? Absolutely not. Just no. No. I do not. The reason for this being is because he's the best character in the game. There is no other character that even comes close. I mean, I said best character, best DPS. I would say Furina's the best character overall. And guess what? They work great together. You know, it's a weird thing. But in all seriousness, Nevi, he is the most consistent damage dealer, and he does really good performance every single time. A lot of people like to sit there and point like, Mualani did it faster. But I don't care, because Mualani is not nearly as consistent, because if you press right click, you're done. You lost a lot of damage on that entire rotation, didn't you? Yeah, it's as simple as that, right? If you right click on Mualani, use more stamina than you need to, or use more Night Soul points than you need to, it can become disastrous, honestly. Whereas Nevi, he doesn't have that issue, right? He is a complete wall and just completely washes ocean waves across the enemies. There is no other character who does as much damage as easily as him, right? Arlecchino, right? My favorite character in the game right now, my favorite character to use. She doesn't, because she has RNG. Because guess what? If you're playing Arlecchino and an enemy spawns 5 pixels away from where you were, that enemy might not get hit. I'm gonna be honest. Just might not. So that's a big thing with a lot of characters. Nevi does not have that, right? Nevi, you have a giant laser beam that you can focus on enemies, right? And a lot of people will go to interruption resistance as something that Nevi has an issue with. But, 1, it's easily solvable if you do decide to use C0 Nevi, and 2, you have this, which completely nullifies that argument, and I compare characters with C1 or R1, and we're not going to say or R1 for Nevi, it's R1 if it's better for the character. However, I got Nevi's weapon when I thought it would be better for the character, because I didn't realize that Furina was going to be so good for him. And yeah, Furina basically turned his C1 into the more valuable aspect of the character, making it so that this C1 is, you know, a thing. And now, some of you might say that, well, wait, you can't say that because most people aren't going to have that. I bring you this poll that I did with 550 of you guys voting on it, right? 550 of you guys voted, and, well, 74% of you guys said you go for cons or weapons. Gonna be honest, 74% there. It is most people, at least most people that watch me. And if that's what we're going to talk about, then that's what we're going to say. You know, if that's what, and that's what you guys said, right? I can do that poll again if you guys want me to after this video, you know, and we'll see if the results change or anything. But basically, Nevi is a character that I would compare with his C1 is a simple answer. And then that would nullify any interruption resistance problems he would have. So yeah. The guy is the best character, best DPS in the game. He might be the best character. You can argue that he's the best character because he's also really self-sustaining, because he just has 100% uptime, and if you have enough energy recharge, his E-skill can completely regenerate his, you know, burst, and then his burst can provide you more damage, and then the burst will just help you out and do more stuff. And overall, you'll clear the chamber without any issues. There's not much else I can say. Like, the guy just does a lot, and he does it very well. And he, like, there's no, boogeyman that's gonna prevent you from doing damage. Unless you're fighting an enemy who is outright immune to Nevi. I don't really see a part where he's gonna be a bad, a bad option. Because guess what his best team is? Oh, Shilonen, minus 36% res. Kazuha, minus 46, or 40% res, not 46. It's just 40. So 76% res shred. I don't think a Hydra-resistant enemy is really going to pose a threat to him at all after that. I don't think it is going to happen. And then you also have Furina over here, who's doing off-field damage. The best off-field damage dealer in the game? Yeah. And that's his team? That's one of his best teams? Who knew? Who knew the guy would be the best character in the game? And don't forget that Nevi, a lot of people are like, oh, well, maybe the Pyro Archon makes, you know, Mualani better, which I thought that was going to be the case. But then I remembered that Nevi, also being a Hydro character, may end up winning the Pyro Archon also, because Nevi can go ahead, get rid of Kazuha, who is the bane of my existence in this team, because his durations run out way faster than Shilonen's. You get rid of this guy, put the Pyro Archon on, she's going to allow him to vape, and guess what happens with Nevi vapes? You're cooked. It's over. There's nothing else. Hey, he's evaporated your entire race. You know, when Nevi vapes, he vaporizes. He actually, like, a lot of people, you know, it's like Mualani. She vaporizes the enemy when she vapes, which is another issue with her. Like, you could just have an enemy that applies themselves with a whole bunch of hydro, right? Not necessarily immune. Like, you know, the new lava golems in Abyss? You know, these lava golems in Abyss that they keep putting in, right? And they apply themselves with pyro, right? It helps out with Mualani, right? But what if it's like the opposite and it's hydro or electro and you're not able to vape? That would be pretty bad for Mualani, gonna be honest. Like, these guys, yeah, I don't know. I would say that you're probably better off, you know, using Nevi in that situation, because the guy isn't dependent on reactions. Now, Nevi is dependent on kind of getting his, you know, elements swirled or, you know, crystallized. That can be an issue for him. That is an issue for when the enemies are, like, actually applied with Electro, which honestly doesn't happen that much, but I mean, it can happen. Once again, with Mualani, right? The only reason that we're getting the lava golems right now is because Natlan had the lava golems, and they're probably going to change it once we get to Sneznaya, which could end up being cryo, which would absolutely destroy Mualani, because if they're cryo, you're just going to freeze them a whole bunch, and then what are you doing? Mualani get crushed. Unless the enemy is, like, specifically applied with another element that hurts, you know, Mualani or, you know, Nevi in specific, you're not really going to see that issue, right? And Nevi is going to get better with the Pyro Archon just as Mualani is, because Mualani, she, I don't want to say needs, but, like, she really wants Shangling. Like, if you really look at it, Shangling on her team, kind of a must-have, if you really look at it. Nevi, not so much. What's going to happen is Pyro Archon comes out, Pyro Archon allows Nevi to vape, and Pyro Archon makes Nevi better, then the gap just increases a little bit more for Nevi, because then it's just like, oh wow, he just really is. Yeah, and then also, if we're assuming Pyro Archon's doing off-field damage, you know, maybe Fiorina vapes, maybe Nevi vapes, or maybe the Pyro Archon herself vapes, which could even be better. Who knows? We'll have to see. We have to wait for the character to come out. This is all speculation, guys. We do genuinely have to wait, because we don't know how these characters are going to interact. The one thing we can say for certain right now is she's going to do off-field pyro, because, like, every single Natlan character wants off-field pyro application. Like, not even a joke. Like, other than Auroron and Kachina, every single other one. And Shilonen, I guess. But Shilonen, honestly, she is probably there to... you know, I really hope the Shilonen's not there to buff Pyro Archon, because I feel like there's a good chance that is what happens. Maybe it's Seatlolly that buffs Pyro Archon or something. Maybe Seatlolly is like a hyper melt DPS, and like Pyro Archon is what helps her. And that's how they do it. Because if you've noticed, Nevi is the main DPS, Fiorina is a support. We haven't really gotten a clear and cut, like, oh, this character is for Pyro Archon yet. So I'm kind of scared. It's a 3 out of 4 option right now. We have 3 DPSs, 1 support. It'll be really annoying if Pyro Archon is DPS. But yeah, overall, I'm going to say that's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.